Hi, everybody. This is Miguel Penna with the Southern Florida Concierge Association. Once again, we finished our podcast just minutes ago, right behind me. It was an amazing podcast. Thank you for everybody that participated and asked the amazing questions that you did. On the podcast, we had John Copeland from the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. We also had Ceci Velasco with the Ocean Drive Association, and they gave us an insight of what the future holds, both the remaining months of November and December, and specifically Art Week and what's going on there. A lot of interaction, a lot of things that are happening, a lot of virtual, but a lot of in-person events as well, which is a positive thing. They also mentioned the hotel occupancies are up 38% on average, as well as the average daily rate is at $185. Not bad, but it'll get better. I know it will. On a positive note, I had mentioned a gentleman by the name of Nathan in Idaho that had an ocean spray bottle. If you haven't seen it on TikTok or any of the other social media platforms, it created a bright light for everyone in these dark times. So if you haven't seen that, pay attention to that. But first and foremost, pay attention to podcasts, and it starts right now.
Hello and welcome to the SFCA podcast. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho and everywhere in between. Miami is a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us. Good morning, everyone. It's 10 o'clock. We are starting on time. We are set with our presentation. This may be an abbreviated show. I don't think we're going to pull the full hour. We may if there's audience questions or participation, but I want to get started. First and foremost, thank you very much for John Copeland from the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau for stepping in last minute for Gisela Marti. John, thank you for joining us. Got a lot of information, I believe, of what's going on throughout the city on various different perspectives. And once again, we have Ceci Velasco from the Ocean Drive Association. Ceci, thank you for joining us. As we last spoke, Miami's infection trend has consecutively diminished below 5%, although we're seeing some spikes recently. We're just shy of 5% to this morning in Dade County and over 7% in Broward. Halloween will be a big issue if we do not heed precautions such as wearing masks and keeping our social distance. So let's keep those masks on and hopefully we'll get through this. Labor Day was it Labor Day? Yeah, Labor Day didn't seem like much of an uptrend, thankfully, as Memorial Day did. So with that, I'm going to give it to John for the latest update and then we'll go into our questions. Good morning, John.
Hey, good morning, Miguel. Good morning, Ceci. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see everybody on here and welcome. So it's been a busy month here at the GMCVB as we have gone through a variety of changes here at the organization. We hosted our annual meeting last week, which was an actual in-person meeting at the Miami Beach Convention Center last Wednesday. And we ran this as a hybrid experience. So not only were we able to host actual in-person live attendees at the convention center, but we also hosted a large crowd virtually through our Zoom, and I hope you all were able to tune in. I will share that the link to that meeting in a little bit so you all can take a look at it. But we were able to host about 250 people at the convention center, socially distanced. Everyone had their own 8-foot table, so one person per table spread out across the grand ballroom. And a big thanks to the team there, as well as Center Plate for providing lunch to everyone in a safe and health conscious manner. And it was a really great opportunity to see a lot of old friends that we haven't seen in a long time, as well as to test out what it means to host an event here in Miami under these new normal restrictions. And so along with that, we also have some sad news. Unfortunately, we've actually, September 30th, we had to lay off 18 of our colleagues here at the Bureau. You know, naturally, as the industry continues to be hit hard by the pandemic, everyone is feeling it, including your Bureau. And so our hearts are with those fellow employees and colleagues, and hopefully one day, very soon, we can get them all back here to the Bureau. But to move on from that, I want to talk a little bit about what's upcoming here at the Bureau and what we have as an outlook for the destination and the work that we're doing to market Greater Miami and the beaches. So one of the things that is continuing to happen are our temptation programs. And we are looking forward to December and January as we launch Miami Arts, Culture, and Heritage Months through the months of December and January. And so I've been working very closely with all of our arts, culture, and heritage partners throughout the destination to solicit amazing offers and deals that we can put forth to the community and to not only residents, but also many visitors as this campaign reaches out beyond Miami-Dade to the drive markets, to the Southeast, encouraging visitors to come to Miami, especially during December and January, to take advantage of these offers for Arts, Culture, and Heritage Months. And so more to come on that as that campaign begins to roll out. Another exciting news for everyone is our Miami Land campaign, which promotes outdoor experiences, specifically our national parks that we have here in Miami-Dade County, as well as our incredible beaches and outdoor activities. This is something that we know travelers are looking for, are opportunities to be outside and have amazing experiences. And so the Miami Land campaign will be kicking off here in November as well. We have some programs launching this week and rolling in through the end of the year, so that hopefully we can attract those visitors looking for that great outside natural experience. And I also have news to share that we are beginning our weather predication campaigns. Now, this is fascinating. If somebody visits our website, miamibeaches.com, looking for information about Miami, and they happen to live in an area that has been recently impacted by very poor weather, snow, cold temperatures, blizzards, we will serve them up directly ads retargeting them to come back to Miami. And so this has been a successful campaign in the past, but this is all weather predicted. So we work with not only the weather companies, but our ad servers to put these campaigns together. So just as we are experiencing our beautiful day here in Miami, the folks in Colorado, Utah, the Midwest that are getting slammed by freezing temperatures, below zero, snow, are getting served up beautiful ads all about Greater Miami. And so we're looking forward to some increased activity and people deciding that, okay, it's time to get out of this bad weather and get back to the glorious sunshine in Miami. And so those are some of the overall highlights. I want to dive in a little bit and share some of the statistics and some of those measurements that is so important to all of us as we are making our decisions about the future. And so I'm going to do a quick share screen here and pull up our research site. And many of you have seen this before, but I want to call your attention to it. Again, this is at Miami and Beaches. This is under our partners, our tools and resources. You can find this in research and statistics. And so we have our daily Miami-Dade County index on the recovery efforts. And you see these trends. I know you have seen this before, but I want to show you that things are slowly starting to creep up. And so especially as we look at air travel here, we see some of the indexes over the past week. You can see this was updated yesterday. So these are the latest numbers. And this is indexing where we were against this time last year. And so that's important for you to remember. So we now have basically a 33.2% of what we had last year. If last year was at 100, today we're at 33%. You can see these trend lines slowly starting to creep up. Our hotel indexing as well, you can see these numbers here. We've got a good look, a little blip there from last week. And so we're hoping that this is moving in a positive direction. You can see as we've opened up our restaurants, and this data here on dining is from Open Table. So this is tracking people that are making Open Table reservations in our county, and we're able to see those numbers here, and particularly good signs as we continue to move in a positive direction there. And then the drive market. This is data that we get from Google. Apple Maps provides this data. So if somebody plugs into their GPS and their Apple Map tool for a Miami destination and they are outside of our county, it will index here. And so you see, again, people continuing to plug in Apple Maps where a destination in Miami that they're traveling to. So I encourage you to bookmark this and keep checking back in with us. And as we continue to monitor everything that's happening. Right now, I'd love to share with you a little bit of some predictors, and these are travel sentiment surveys. And we work closely with destination analysts who do national surveys on trending. They ask the hard questions of potential travelers. And this is data as of October 25th. So this is as of Sunday when they concluded their last round of surveys. You can see they're talking to a lot of people in their respondents here. But we see these trend lines about that are telling us exactly what we're seeing nationally. So as the rest of the nation starts to spike, we're seeing more sentiment that, okay, I'm a little more nervous about the state of affairs here in our country. And so it's important for us to realize the mindset of potential travelers as we are making our predictions and as we are forecasting. And so this is a great site. I will post this link along with the research link into the chat window so that everyone can see it. But there's a lot of great questions in here and a lot of great data, especially about excitement to travel, openness and willingness to travel. If people are losing interest in travel, they're asking these questions. And so you can get a real sense from the national perspective about what potential travelers are thinking as they are making their future plans. Now, I know that historically, we have by now looked toward the future 2 or 3 months out for recognizing the indicators of what's going to happen and how our hotel capacities are increasing. But what we're finding as a trend analysis is people are booking very, very last minute compared to historical trends. We are seeing a lot of anecdotal information from our partners in Expedia, where people are booking hotels 2 or 3 days out. They're booking flights within a week of their travel because the capacity is there, because the inventory is there. They have the luxury of making very last minute decisions. So many of the travelers that we are seeing to the destination have only made that decision within the past couple of weeks. In fact, we've heard from some hotels that are having walk-up visitors where they walk to the front desk and they ask, do you have a room available? Naturally, their answer is yes currently. But this is a trend that we have not seen happen before, and this is a new phenomenon for our destination. So we're going to continue to keep our eyes on this and look for ways that we can be a positive facilitator in encouraging people to make a decision earlier. So as we look to the holidays, right now, people are making travel decisions on Thanksgiving. And I think that we will see in the next couple of weeks, some of those decisions get locked in. But consumers out there, Miguel, are planning much, much later than they ever have.
Okay. But they are coming. We're seeing an uptrend with everyone, correct?
We are. And we've got some positive reinforcement from places like the airport. And so I've got some great news that I'd love to share with you about that is also helping, because naturally, being able to get here is an important thing. So I've got my notes here. We've got great news this past week that El Al Israel Airlines is beginning weekly flights back to Tel Aviv, back and forth from Miami. Starting November 15th, they're going to bump that up to 3 times a week. Travel back and forth to Israel, Tel Aviv. We also have 3 weekly flights on Air France right now to Paris. And so you can travel back and forth to Paris via Air France. Wonderful news from Avianca and Viva Air that they are continuing to increase service. Avianca has 16 weekly flights to Colombia to various cities. Viva Air actually has 5 weekly flights back and forth to Medellin. So those are great news from our South American partners that will hopefully increase visitors from those areas. And then on the domestic front, wonderful news for our first low-cost carrier at Miami International Airport, Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines now will be beginning 12 daily flights in November. to various cities here in the United States. And we know the Southwest is a very popular carrier for domestic flights. So we're thrilled to be able to have them now coming into Miami International.
Amazing. So I've read that the low-cost domestic carriers are probably going to be what brings us out of this little rut that we have versus the big international carriers, obviously, because there is no international travel at the moment, or if there is very minimal. We did have a question from Michael Casas. He mentioned ADR, but I think what he mentioned was, what is the average occupancy of the hotels right now on a weekly basis? And I assume there's two dynamics. There's Monday through Thursday, and then there's the Friday to Sunday pattern.
Yeah, that's a great question. Great question. In fact, I have my STAR report right here that I printed out this morning. And so if we look back at the last week, which ended October 17th, based on STAR, for the entire destination, excuse me, we are at almost a 38% occupancy. And that's across more than 60,000 hotel rooms in Greater Miami. And we're seeing great trends, especially about daily rate, which is holding. One of the wonderful things that we love to see is the daily rate and the ADR being able to hold rate. And so we've got great news from that. In fact, specifically for Miami Beach is holding a daily rate of about $185 across the beach. And so that's a great indicator that we're not dropping prices yet. We're holding on to them. And the visitors that are coming are willing to pay these rates.
Great. Now, when you figure out the occupancies, you don't factor in the hotels that still remain closed. I know there's some that are opening November, December, and even possibly next year, correct?
Yeah. To the degree that those hotels are still reporting information to STAR, and so the STR is it's a big indicator for us to be able to rely on those numbers. But of the current total inventory, we're looking at 60,466 rooms in Greater Miami.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for the information, Jonathan. Thank you for the question, Michael. We appreciate it. So we're going to move on to the question segment before, but for those of you that just joined us, if you didn't watch TikTok, this may ring a bell for those TikTok watchers, along with the name Nathan Abatka. I know I completely botched that whole name. Ocean Spray, Fleetwood Mac, and a red pickup truck. More of that coming later. Right now, we're going to get into the question component. But before I do that, to our concierge colleagues out there, and there's quite a few of them, we have over 40 in attendance. We're almost actually at our complete RSVP point. I want to let you know that we as an association are doing everything humanly possible to ensure that you remain valid in the eyes of all of our businesses as well as our hotels. Many concierges have been furloughed. Many concierges have been laid off. I've been victim to one of those layoffs, and I get it completely. It's a business decision which had to be made. And for the success and vitality of the business, it needs to be done now. Obviously, things are going to change. How are they going to change? Very simple. Tourism will come back. That's a given. How it's going to come back? Leisure travel first, because you can't Zoom leisure travel. You can't virtually travel. You're going to show up to Miami. You're going to see all the sites. You're going to go see Vicky at the Everglades National Park. You're going to see Brian on big bus tours. You're going to see Anna with all her different attractions, or you're going to go to the Aventura Mall. Whatever the case may be, we're going to be ready for you. Hence is when we're going to get all that business back. Now, I foresee that the business travel as well as the group travel will probably be into the beginning to latter part of next year. But the leisure is what Miami's based on, and that's probably our higher rated business, although we want that base business. So I want all the concierges out there to keep hope. I keep hope. And, you've got to change. And that's the reason why I brought up that Ocean Spray. And I'm going to go into that little mantra later on. But we're going to go into our questions now.
Hey, Miguel, it's Ceci. I can't turn my video back on. I turned it off for a minute and I can't turn it back on.
Let's see. Co-host. Okay, I'm going to make you co-host. I'll see if you can turn your video on now.
Yeah, that's what happened.
Works? Still see your picture though.
Yes.
There we go. You're good.
Sorry about that. I meant to turn it off for just 1 second, not to give you my back, and then I didn't want to interrupt because I couldn't.
No worries. So now we have all two of our panelists plus myself on. We have 3 questions, and they've probably been somewhat answered in John's presentation, but I want to go back to them again. With the next steps in the hospitality community moving forward, considering our low trending numbers, how do you foresee the next 30, 60, and 90 days? John?
Oh gosh. I mean, we've tried so hard to predict what's happening with this pandemic. I mean, if we think back to our predictions that we had on March 15th when we went into a shutdown mode, you know, they're totally wrong. We thought that, oh, by Memorial Day, we'll be back in action, we'll be up and running, we'll have a great summer. And then it moved to September, and we got to September and we got into a new phase. We got some more restrictions lifted. But, you know, we have to remember that our tourism is impacted not necessarily by what's happening here in our community, it's by what's happening around the world and what's
Correct.
happening nationally. And those are the indicators that have been the toughest to predict. You know, when our numbers turned here in Miami-Dade County and we started dropping low and reopening, we thought, oh, we're good to go. Well, unfortunately, the rest of the country, we're seeing the opposite. They were seeing their numbers start to grow. And so that impacts, you know, the national news and the media attention as they call more awareness to the pandemic and the virus and what the status is around the country. I think that, you know, it's going to be incredibly important for us to keep pounding and reinforcing health and safety protocols because travelers want to travel. There is tons of demand out there that's built up and they're ready to get out. But they want to go somewhere where they're going to be safe, where they're going to be protected, where the community that they're traveling to values their health and safety. And I think those are going to be important things for us to reinforce across our industry here in Greater Miami.
Okay, before we go into Ceci, a follow-up question for you, John. We have Tony Farber asking, how does Miami tourism statistics compare to Fort Lauderdale and Tampa? Do you track those? Do you do a comparative study?
We've not done a lot of comparative study. Most of it is anecdotal from our colleagues there, and they're in the same situation. You know, it's you know, it's a trend across the country. We're not seeing any destinations here domestically doing well. There's you know, even Orlando, which is, you know, historically, you know, known for being able to bounce back incredibly fast, are still really struggling. Still seeing about the same percentages.
Okay. And then our friend at Aventura Mall, Krista Rouhani, asked a question. Is there a section on the site or can you share the overview of the international flights that are now coming to Miami?
Yes. In fact, we lean on Miami International Airport to share that data. I'm going to need to follow up with you because I'll have to find that one. But yes, that data is available and I can get that and share that with the group.
Perfect. Very well. Thank you very much, Crystal and Tony. And we have one more question, then we'll move on to Ceci with her response. Vicky Reyes, and she asked, do we have a list of the hotels that are currently open in Miami and the beaches?
John?
Yeah, go ahead, Ceci.
No, I think that's for you, right?
Yeah. We can provide that. We had it listed for a long time as part of our travel guidelines during the lockdown because for, you know, specifically for those hotels that were continued to be open during the lockdown. But yes, we can provide that information as well.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much, Vicky, for your question. Okay, Ceci, your input on this. What do you foresee the future of the hospitality industry 30, 60, and 90 days out?
Yeah, I don't think there's any forecast. We haven't been able to figure out anything from day one. We thought it was going to be a couple of weeks. We thought it was going to be 6 weeks. You saw from how the unemployment was structured, they thought we'd have everybody back to work long before now. And it really has a lot to do with the different municipalities and the different rules that are going around as well, right? So, you know, Mayor Francis Suarez is a lot more liberal and lenient. Mayor Gelber in Miami Beach is a lot more strict. We have an older population here that he's very concerned about. It is a small island. So the feds are doing one thing, the states are doing something else, the county says it, but then there's a lot of latitude or interpretation depending on where you live. So it's really hard. And then I just read Chicago's going backwards, right? So you never know. I would say that and I agree with John, just because we're open doesn't mean it's over. Correct. So those protocols still need to be there. We have been saying 11 p.m. is not the magic number. The virus doesn't become more contagious after 11 p.m. and it's not more contagious in a restaurant than it is at Walmart on Saturdays. We need to be able to stand by that. We need to be able to have our hotels and restaurants continue with their very high protocols. And we need to, again, lead by example. I think that's my message every time, because when you walk into a restaurant and the hostess and the waiters are using, or the bussers are using their mask as a chin strap, it doesn't work, right? And the one time that you're going to get somebody with name recognition and a lot of online presence that gets the COVID at your place, that's a fatal flaw. So we just really need to keep our protocols really high to make sure that our customers know that we're following protocols, our customers are seeing that we're following protocols, and we can't fall into that. We can't fall into this false.
Oh, we lost your audio. Looks like I lost your audio.
We
There we
don't
go.
need a law telling us that we need to have safe protocols. We want to protect our customers, and we need to make sure that that is the message that we're sending out to everybody. And as associations, we need to make sure that we're supporting the protocols. Yes, be open. We want you to be open. We've been lobbying for, everybody to be open. We've been lobbying against the curfew. I keep saying it is just not more contagious after 11. It's not more contagious after midnight, but we have to continue with those protocols and make sure that our customers know what it takes to keep them safe.
True. Agreed. You keep your defenses up and we'll get through this. You let your defenses down and we're going to retract back to where we were before. You're totally right. Regarding Art Week, I know we spoke about it last month, John, as well as Ceci. What have you seen moving forward? I know there was a lot of virtual happenings, but I think there's some personal installments and one-on-one, both in the Wynwood area and possibly even the beach.
In the beach, I heard, and John, maybe you know more about this, but I know James Eccles from Art is Life received a Knight Foundation grant. So he's got a funding in place to do a local Miami Art Week. And I know that his site was on the convention center and doing things here in Miami Beach. I'm not really sure exactly what that lineup is because he just recently got the award, but I am absolutely sure that we're going to be hearing a lot more about it. And supporting the local arts is really, really very important. I know. So I don't know if you know, I hosted the Pinecrest Gardens Jazz Aid and John Cicada. And so I was the MC, but they went pay-per-view. And anybody that is doing anything to support live entertainment, artists, in any way, online or not, I think, or even in person, I think it's really, really important and we should support them. I know that they're trying to do something important because a pay-per-view doesn't put heads in beds. It doesn't put, people in restaurants, but at least we kind of can keep the momentum going. But I think Art Week is a go and it's going to be a big local draw.
Yeah, absolutely. And yes, I've been talking with James Eccles with Life is Art as well. And he's been working hard to try to put an art fair into the Miami Beach Convention Center. And so we're supportive of that. And we are going to be supportive of his event, hopefully, as it comes together. But I definitely have a lot of things going on with Miami Art Week. As I mentioned earlier, our Miami Arts, Culture, and Heritage Months that spans December and January. We're going to have great temptation offers that we're soliciting now from many of our arts and culture partners. As you know, the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau runs the Art of Black Miami program, which is a very important program for celebrating Black artists and artists of color in our community. We have a lot of museums coming back online. We just got word last week that PAM, the Perez Art Museum Miami, will open to the public on November 7th. This is great news because they're one of our main anchor cultural arts institutions. We're hearing news about other openings that are happening as well from MoCA in North Miami. The Frost Art Museum at FIU is open. The Bass is open out on Miami Beach, as well as many of the family run collections such as the Rubel and the Dela Cruz collection. So all of these things are culminating now as we roll into Art Week. And we think we're going to have an Art Week that's very much a locals event, but also we're putting some effort forth to encourage people in that drive market to come down and share with us everything that's happening with arts and culture. A few other quick updates. We work very closely with the city of Miami Beach and their cultural affairs department. They are running a program starting in December called No Vacancy Miami Beach, which matches 10 artists with 10 hotels for a juried art competition on Miami Beach. And there will be a professional jury that will judge all of the artworks, as well as a People's Choice Prize that the GMCVB is sponsoring. So we hope that everybody gets out and visits these 10 hotels to see these 10 amazing installations. Another initiative by the city of Miami Beach is called Open House, and they are working with Lincoln Road to put artists and art activations into empty storefronts on Lincoln Road. And so if you are an artist or know of an artist that wants to participate in that, please reach out to the city of Miami Beach. Ceci, I don't know, are they going beyond Lincoln Road with this project?
Yep. Yes,
oh, that's
they're going
great.
beyond Lincoln Road. So anybody in the city that has a vacancy can work with the city on the open house. Lincoln Road, the Business Improvement District, is taking a big part in moving that. But other properties that have vacancies are also available to take advantage and pop up for the art. Yeah.
That's great. That's fantastic. We also have been working with the city of Coral Gables and the Coral Gables bid. They have 5 new fantastic murals down on Miracle Mile that we hope everybody checks out. They are also putting art experiences into some of their empty storefronts. The Miami Downtown Development Authority is working with the downtown businesses to create some art experiences during Art Week, including at some of the hotels downtown. And then I just got to meet with the city of Doral and the Doral Contemporary Art Museum, who is doing a large-scale sculpture installation that will happen throughout the city of Doral with work by Manalo Valdez. And this is going to be amazing. It will actually be a 6-month installation. It's all outside in public spaces. You don't need a ticket. It doesn't cost you anything to go and experience this. So our arts groups are getting creative and they are welcoming people back to their venues. And I hope everybody gets out and enjoys some arts and culture this fall.
Wow. Information overload. That's a lot of things that are going on. Question for both of you. I'm going to put it out there now. The week of November 23rd, 24th, which is a Monday, Tuesday, I would love to have you up as a follow-up. So as we approach Art Week, we're ready to give all that information again. Obviously, you'll be sending us information that we'll disseminate to all the masses electronically. But I would love to get a follow-up of where we are and moving forward right just in the cusp of that week as we head forward into the fall. Thank you, John, for that information. Ceci as well. So we're making a lot of progress.
You might want to have James Eccles on.
I'm sorry?
You might want to have James Eccles join.
Definitely.
Talk about his
I would love to. We would love to have him on so we can work on that as well. So for those of you that are on 23rd, 22nd, 23rd, which is a Monday, Tuesday of November, that's Thanksgiving week. Hopefully you'll be able to join us. It'll be jam-packed with information. Last question is for the future. This is the $1 million question. What do you foresee happening in South Florida? Not so much Christmas, but New Year's Eve. Do you think things will be different as discussions began on different various levels, both of the county and city?
Go
ahead, John, you can start.
I think that, we're running into, the same challenges with just the unknown about where the virus is going to be and what the positivity rates are going to be in our community at that time. We are seeing, many of our clubs and bars beginning to reopen. And as nightlife is beginning to restart, we know that is an important part of that industry. And New Year's Eve is the flagship experience for Miami Beach nightlife. So it'll be interesting to see how our different municipalities handle this. Mm-hmm. And Ceci, I know you're right in the heart of all of those discussions. So
Miami Beach is much more conservative than the rest of the county, I believe. And I think that you're going to see fireworks on Biscayne and in the city of Miami. You're probably going to see things in Wynwood happen. I think Mayor Suarez is going to be open. We already are closed to vehicular traffic. I don't know what Ocean Drive is going to be able to do. Most of our places for New Year's Eve are a reservation only. They're usually safely distanced. They're usually in clusters of groups. I think the future is now. I heard from David Wallach that Mango's is planning to open before the end of the month if everything goes well. The Fish Called Avalon is open and the Avalon Hotel is open. So I know the Betsy is planning to be open before December, I believe. So I think the future is now. I think places are now feeling comfortable that they can reopen. They're getting their reservations in. They know that they can get the occupancy to make that equitable and make it financially sound to open. I think I had a conversation the other day. There is a big difference between properties that also or hotels that are also property owners versus hotels and restaurants that are tenants. Hotels and restaurants that are tenants are pressured to make those rent payments. So you've seen that they probably have opened before some of the property owners that maybe can afford and need to be financially sound before they reopen. And I've seen that happening. I've seen the ones that are opening are either corporate, chain, or they're tenants, and they just really feel pressured to open and give. The other ones have been really, Mango's owns their property, for example. The Betsy owns their property. The same thing with the Avalon. So when you see that they have been more cautious about reopening, they have the ability to look at it from the perspective of a property owner and a business owner. So I think you see that there's a difference. I don't know if anybody's noticed that, but I have taken a really strong notice of that difference. But I will see that the property owned businesses are now opening again. I think everybody wants to have a great New Year's Eve. That's right on the table. Everybody's looking at it. That's what makes your year. So that will set off the year. If they have a really good, strong New Year's Eve, they feel like they're going to be able to come back from this. Amen. So everybody's looking forward to that.
Definitely. I think that this year, I don't think there isn't a person on this earth that doesn't want 2020 to be behind us. And we look for great things, both internationally, politically, domestically, and locally in 2021. And I think that's where New Year's Eve is like, okay, let's say goodbye to the past and let's bring in the new with a big hurrah, so to speak. So hopefully that doesn't get squelched by any increases in viruses, so on and so forth. Before we go on to the next component, does anybody have any questions for any of our two panelists? I have one here. Let me see what it is. Life is Art was the name of it. No, I don't see any questions. So I'm going to move on to my next phase. As I said, this is going to be a short one.
Oh.
So everybody knows
what is that about? I don't even know what
that's
about.
If you were somewhere else, about 8 a.m. on September 25th, a 2005 Dodge Durango battery cut out. It was Mr. Poktaka, I'll call him Nathan because I keep badgering his last name, broke down on his way to work at Idaho Potato Warehouse. This was not new experience for him. The SUV has more than 330,000 miles on it. So Mr. Poktaka grabbed his phone, his large bottle of Ocean Spray cranberry juice, and his longboard. For those of you who don't know what a longboard is, that's a skateboard. Kept in the car just in case of emergencies and wheeled the rest of the way to work. This was his morning vibe as he filled himself coasting down the highway, boasting his mother's Native American heritage with a feather tattoo on the side of his head, chugging a juice and sinking to lips Fleetwood Mac's Dreams. What does this have to do with us? The opportunity is around us. Nathan knows this. He looked for plan B, grabbed his bottle, grabbed his phone, grabbed his longboard, and off he went. The opportunity is around us. Things are going to happen. His car broke down. He reverted to plan B and had fun with it as well. Life doesn't happen to us. It happens for us. In every situation, you may have a struggle, you may have a challenge, but you will get through it. You will have setbacks. You will have multiple challenges. It's how you react to those challenges that'll make it. Your family and your health are the most important in your life at this moment, and it should be in every moment. Keep those two in check, and we'll be all okay. I look forward to the day that together we can reminisce together and celebrate our friendships. Until then, everybody, mask up. Thank you very much to Ceci. Thank you to John. We look forward to seeing you next month. And grab that Ocean Spray bottle when you have a chance and give it a chug. God bless all. Have a wonderful day. Take care. Bye-bye. Our goal is to inspire travel. We want to expose you to what Miami and South Florida has to offer. From Key Biscayne to Coconut Grove, South Beach to Calle Ocho and everywhere in between. Miami is a vibrant city and offers a wide array of popular attractions and venues. Come join us.